for Dr. J.
Clap on.
Clap off.
The clapper.
The clapper. All right. So the midlife.
And I don't know if I'm in the middle of it today or not, but I mean, today is my my birthday.
Your 44th.
45th.
45th. That's
You'll be
right.
44 tomorrow.
I'm the 44. Just me.
Apparently, part of midlife is confusion and memory loss.
Yep.
Assuming that's what this is.
If that's what it is.
Are you still untangling? Can't you buy something to keep that from happening?
You know, you would think that. But Jason,
They don't make it? Or you haven't bought it?
here's the thing, Jason. We've put a man on the moon. We've sent remote control cars to Mars. But we have yet to make the untangleable cord. The cord that cannot be tangled.
Maybe for your midlife crisis you can do that.
Maybe that's my goal. There's my retirement, right?
An untangleable cord.
Yes,
Tangleable.
the cord that cannot be tangled. That's what we need. Hello.
The untangleable cord.
Yeah. I think next time we should sit at that table.
You want to do that instead?
No, because I've already got. I'm not taking this down and then putting it back up.
Why do you want to sit at that one?
So we're not in traffic.
Oh, we are in traffic.
Yeah. Scoot over and get closer to my honey.
Yeah.
Oh, this seat is playful.
I sat in that seat yesterday.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you have fun with it?
Yes.
Did it?
It was great. I had to smoke afterward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to keep this one tucked behind my ear for a while.
You're going to have to see the movie Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Midlife.
Yeah.
I guess I'm there if I live to be 90.
Well, okay, so is it a state of being or is it...
I think culturally it's a state of being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if other cultures, I've never done the research, but I'm not sure if other cultures have this or not, or if this is a uniquely American thing.
I would have to say it's probably not uniquely American.
I think, okay, so if you refer to, are you talking about midlife or a midlife crisis? Midlife.
Midlife crisis.
I think everyone at a certain point comes to the realization that they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And that there are just as many years behind them as there are ahead of them.
Mm-hmm. Theoretically.
So if I die at 90, which is a ripe old age, I'm halfway there. And
Right.
when you reach that point, it's like, wow, there will come a day when I am no longer here.
Yeah.
Time to buy an expensive car and have an affair. That part, I think, is uniquely a cultural thing. Our response to it is cultural. The realization of your mortality is a human experience, but our response can be kind of frightening. Though I don't know how Gen X is going to respond to the midlife crisis. I know this isn't about Gen X, but I just thought about that. And you mentioned this earlier today. We don't even know if this is our midlife.
No, we don't.
What if we live to be 100, 110 years old?
Yeah.
I might be living mine right now. I might be going through that. But
Yeah.
but what you said before we started recording was that in my particular case, things are happening to me. I'm not trying to make things happen, which is so I'm not choosing. I just happen to be caught up in this web, like a spider web, say. Like a fly.
That's an interesting metaphor, Jason.
I can't
Whoever
live with it
told you
myself.
that should get a raise.
That's all I'm going to say about that. But you had said that the midlife crisis is the response to your age, not things happening to you.
Yeah, it's the. All right, so the key that you hit on, now this is my philosophy, and you take it for what it's worth, is it's trying to get me to rate the app that I'm recording on. Of course it is.
Who does that?
Well, apparently, this app. Anyway, for me, the key is you're facing death. You've got to the point of your life where it's that moment where you're facing death for real. Like you're looking it right in the face.
I would say I've arrived.
Yeah.
I started doing that last year.
Yeah. See, I did that around 40. So, and thank God I came out the way I did.
Well, I don't know if this is very personal, but last year was a year in which I had what psychiatrists and psychologists would refer to as suicidal ideation, so suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
Because I felt like at the time, and I think I was wrong, but I felt like my life was unraveling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was trying to beat nature to the punch and just say, I can take care of this problem right away. Embrace my mortality in a very unhealthy way. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, because I don't think you were ready to face it.
No. And I'm no more ready today than I was then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm scared. I don't know if I'm even freaked out. I mean, it is what it is. I think my faith keeps me from being as afraid as I would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, either it's already happened or it will. So midlife for me hasn't been, my circumstances haven't always been great. But I wouldn't say that I've reacted to them in a way that's particularly unusual.
Yeah.
I haven't felt the need to have an affair. I haven't suddenly been dissatisfied with my life. I've been dissatisfied with my life for a while, but not the way you are from a midlife crisis.
Right.
I'm dissatisfied the way a lot of Americans are dissatisfied in a consumer culture.
Right.
But you think you hit yours already. How do you know?
Because I made peace with death.
How, 40?
Well, somewhere between 40 and now. I can't.
But you didn't make peace for a while. Your circumstances are unusual, though.
Yeah.
For why you made peace with death and why you had to.
Yeah. So. But.
That's the end of the show. We've covered everything.
Yeah, we got it. No, I'm sorry. My significant other is bombing my phone. That's for after. That's the after show party.
Yes.
We'll talk about it. The after show party.
Oh my.
But what was I going to tell you? Yeah. So I think I've come to peace. Here's the thing, though. The crisis. I think the crisis has two different meanings. It's the
At the same time.
Yeah. The mental crisis that you're having because you're coming to terms with the fact that you are mortal. Because the thing about us, in our 20s, especially in our 20s, we're invincible.
Nothing can kill us.
Nothing can kill us. We get into our 30s, adulthood starts to sink in, but we still feel we're okay. Those people who are dying, they're old. I think that's why, when, what was it, you said something the other day, somebody had passed away, they were in their 60s, and you said, they died young. And I looked at you and I said, no, they didn't. They were old.
In 15 years. You'll see.
But, I don't know, when I get to be 60, I'm going to be like, I'm old. I'm old. But I think, so you're coming to grips with that. When you hit your 40s, you're like, oh my God, I'm not this kid. I'm not invincible. Those old people, that's why I said, when you said, they died young, and I said no, because I look at 65, it's not that far away.
20 years.
And the way I feel, I feel like I have knee and hip problems every day. I have pains in my knees and hips. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what's it going to be like in 20 years?
It's going to hurt.
Oh, it's going to hurt like a bitch. It's going to be painful.
2 words, though. Modern medicine.
Yeah, modern medicine. So I think there's the one crisis. And then the other crisis is the reaction to that, where you literally self-destruct. And that self-destruction can be different for everybody. You may be able to, you personally may not self-destruct like I did. Because I literally self-destructed. I melted down. I almost lost my job.
Well, I think last year, all of the mental issues, the suicidal ideation, all added up to it.
Yeah.
But instead of acting, I didn't know what to do. Right. I did not create my circumstances.
Yeah.
And so
you didn't react to them.
But now, and I won't say exactly how I know this, but I am in a situation right now that you know about, where I could make a big mistake.
Yeah.
And I have to be on my guard. So at least I've got that.
Yeah.
Because when you reach the midlife crisis, you are no longer on your guard. You are thinking, I'm going to die, and I've got to do something to avoid my own death. So I'm going to have an affair. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to buy a motorcycle. I'm going to, I don't know, any number of things. I'm going to quit my job.
Yeah. I'm going to start a new career.
You see
a lot of people in their 40s do that.
Yes.
Look at American Beauty.
Yes.
He blackmails his boss into a year's worth of pay so he can quit his job.
That is the ultimate midlife crisis movie.
It is.
It's the best midlife crisis movie ever.
And she's having a midlife crisis too at the same time. They both are.
Okay, so that actually brings up another point. Do women go through the crisis in the same way men do? Because in our culture, we play up the male midlife crisis and not the female midlife crisis.
Yeah, because the females go through a crisis as well.
Yeah. But I think one of their big crises is biological, and that's menopause.
Yeah.
And that's when it starts to hit that, oh, dear Jesus.
Yeah.
My body's changing, I'm changing, I'm going to die. But in that movie, she responds the way we would expect a man does. Well, she has an affair. She has an affair.
She puts more emphasis on material goods.
Yep. He puts more emphasis on his own body, hence the working out in the garage.
Yep. Gets a job at a fast food restaurant.
I like the scene when he has to serve them.
Yeah.
His wife and her real estate king lover.
Yeah. Who's the king? That scene is fantastic.
It's a great movie.
It is.
It's a true, and it's.
Well, and the question is, at the end, everybody wants to kill him, and the question is, why do they want to kill him? Because he's the only one out of the whole group that has found happiness. He's happy.
Yep.
And they're mad at him for it.
Yep.
Because his happiness is disrupting their facade.
It's you're not supposed to be that happy.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. Well, okay. You're not supposed to be happy in the things that he's doing with his life. You're supposed to be happy being a successful businessman or a successful realtor or any number of things. But he's found happiness in shedding everything.
Yeah.
She never achieves happiness.
No.
And then he dies, and then she's devastated. So as far as that goes, I guess I can honestly say it hasn't happened yet. I've just had weird stuff happening to me. Hence the web, right? I haven't had the opportunity to do anything. I don't know if my visual impairment keeps me from doing certain things.
Right.
So it just doesn't cross my mind. I can't buy a car. What am I going to do?
Well, Jason, I tell you what, you go buy a car and I'll drive it for you.
Look, one of our colleagues, when I first got this job, wanted to take me out in his car.
I know. Well, yeah, but he was doing it because,
that's who he is.
Alcohol and drugs do funny things to people.
Yeah, they do. He shall remain nameless.
Yeah. But it's I think it's different for everybody, but it all, like, the reaction, The catalyst is all the same.
Yeah, mortality.
Mortality. You're coming to a point in your life where you're having to face mortality and really reckon with it in a way that you've never had to before. And once you get through that, you have a better appreciation of life. A lot of the fear and the anxiety is gone. You know? The fear, well, let me put it like this. The anxiety for me has shifted from, okay, a very self-centered anxiety to an anxiety of, okay, how are my children going to live if I'm gone? So it shifts. Whereas before it's like, I don't want to die. I'm not ready. Now it's like, okay, I can, if it comes, it comes. I can't. The biggest realization is really truly realize, like we say it all the time, yeah, we have no power over it. Coming to that realization is fucking mind-blowing. Because it's like, it's kind of like, you know, the first time you get on a plane, you're nervous until you get in the air, and all of a sudden all those nerves are gone.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's like, right? And coming to that actual realization, like, you know, I don't want to die, and realizing that you can't stop it, and you have to make peace with that. It's like you finally get the wheels off the ground.
And you think you've already done that?
Yeah, I know I have.
I don't know that I have. Again, I think my religious convictions have made it easier.
And saying that doesn't mean you're not afraid.
Yeah,
because the fear is still there. You still don't want to die. I mean, it's not like you're sitting there saying, "Okay, I'm okay now. I want to die now."
But when you're much older, I think you're even more at peace than you are in your 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Because in your 70s and 80s, you're like, "What's to be afraid of now?"
Yeah.
I've made it this far.
Well, the way I look at it, and this is, you know, I joke with people all the time, but I'm dead serious when I say this. I don't want to see 80. I think going in my 70s is perfectly fine with me, because that's a long time.
It is a long time.
I think about, I'm going to be 44 tomorrow. It's a long fucking time.
It is a long time.
44 years, man.
Yeah.
1976.
Yep.
Really? Do you realize how long ago that was now?
Yeah.
It's insane.
It was exactly 44 years.
Yeah, I know. No, I mean, I'm just saying.
I know.
You know.
And I think the other part that's frightening, I think one of the reasons why it's not just that your mortality is looming somewhere in the distance, it's that it's all happened so fast.
Yeah.
And if it's happening this fast now, the next thing I know, I'll be dying.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn around tomorrow and be on my deathbed.
Yeah.
Thinking, this is it. And I think that's horrifying. So you do things that I think the crisis, when you start acting out,
Yeah.
it's a way of cramming as much into your life as you possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just like, it's just, I've got to do as much as I possibly can.
Why can't I do what I did in my 20s?
Yeah.
I'm absolutely capable of doing what I did in my 20s. So I'm going to do that. And then you wake up next morning and you're like, oh, God, it hurts. I'm going to do it again.
I can feel my liver.
I can feel my liver.
I'm not supposed to be able to feel my liver.
You know, my stuff didn't look like that before. What happened?
It's the speed.
Yeah.
The speed frightens you.
Yeah.
At least I think it does.
No, it does, because you're right. Okay, so here's a good example of that. So the other day, I was talking to, I think it was one of my classes, and I mentioned, I was like, that the album 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance, right, came out in like 2005.
15
years ago. It feels like yesterday.
Of course it does.
Like that, to me, that's a newer album. But when you look at like the old albums, to me, they came out in the early 90s, And to me, I'm like, but even those still aren't the really old albums, which were albums that came out before I was born.
Oh yeah.
Those are the classic albums. God, those things are 70, 80, 90 years old now.
I know.
It's like, what happened?
I've been listening to Blood on the Tracks
Yeah.
by Bob Dylan recently, and I looked at just to see what the release date was.
Yeah.
1975.
Really?
The album is as old as I am.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Or looking at some of Jimi Hendrix's albums, they're 50 years old.
Yeah. Well, Sgt. Pepper's was 50 in 2017. It turned 50 years old. Sgt. Pepper's. And Paul's still alive. So you do the math.
Look at the Stones.
Look at the Stones. Well,
they're not a great example.
no, because they drink formaldehyde, for crying out loud.
Yeah, they do. Keith Richards will never die.
No. No, he will be around he'll be around long before we are.
I like the meme that always pops up on social media when someone else dies. It's just a meme of him.
Keith Richards is still alive.
And you see him there just looking all high and shit. Cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Can't understand a thing he says.
That man has figured it out. I mean, all jokes aside,
Yeah.
because he lives like there is no tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And he is, I think, honestly, probably the happiest person on the planet. I think he is thrilled to be alive. I don't think he ever had a midlife crisis.
Maybe not.
He's just living the same way he lived in his 20s.
Yeah.
Is it still running?
Yeah, let's go.
I think he's living the exact same way he always has. So what would a midlife crisis look like for him? I'm going to sober up, and stop sleeping around.
Maybe that's why he's still living, because he's never had to sober up and face reality. And his lifestyle, the amount of money he makes, he doesn't have to.
Nope.
He can stay high forever.
Maybe that's the key. Make a lot of money and stay high forever. So naturally, we teach English.
Not everybody works that way, because if you look at Ozzy.
Oh man.
I know.
Now he has Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So Keith Richards is probably an anomaly. He's an outlier.
You think?
You can't really measure anything. I can't think of anything by which you can measure using Keith Richards. There's no example of anything that you can measure and say, well, compare that to Keith Richards.
Yeah.
No, you really can't.
Yeah.
Except I don't think he ever had a crisis. Ever. And what would it look like? So no, I think the speed of it, because when you're young, time seems to drag so much. Mm-hmm. And then as you get older, because our students will complain about the semester taking so long, and then we get to finals, we're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
Like, wait until you've been in college for a few years.
Yeah.
It's even faster. Like right now, we're on week 6.
6. Yeah, but oh my God, this semester, it really is dragging, Jason.
I feel like I've been hazed.
I know, right? The first week was like 4 weeks long. I'm used to the semester getting off quickly and then slowing down in the middle and then speeding up at the end, right? That's usually how it works. This semester just like ground to a halt, and it's been, what did I say in the English department meeting? It's like watching a slow train wreck that won't end.
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Train wreck in slow motion that never ends.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah, so
I don't know what to do with any of this. I mean, truly. I have no idea what to say about it, because either I've arrived already and it was horrible, and I simply didn't respond, or it hasn't arrived yet. Because today I'm not freaked out.
yeah.
Today I'm like, it's another day, and I'm all right. 45 is, pretty much par.
What'd you say this morning? It feels like 44.
Yes.
But I think at this point in our life, the numbers become insignificant.
They do. They do. I mean, it's... And our students don't understand. not the young students.
Yeah.
And you can't really explain it to them. That's why anytime I teach the love song of Geoffrey Prufrock, I'm like, you cannot understand this yet.
Yeah.
That may be a microaggression. Because
It's ageist.
But I'm sorry, to understand the love song of Geoffrey Prufrock, you have to understand you're going to die one day.
Yeah.
Because that's what that entire poem's about.
It's that, and he's looking back on his life.
What did you do?
He's done nothing.
He's done nothing.
Instead of being Hamlet, he was Hamlet's foot soldier. Or what does he say? I was Hamlet's.
A deferential tool.
Yeah.
Is the term he uses.
Yeah. And he could have been Hamlet.
He could have been Hamlet. But instead he did nothing.
That was my midlife crisis. I tried to be Hamlet.
You were pretty successful for a while there. Well, you know, the only thing that was missing is your girlfriend drowning herself in a pond.
Oh, that's true.
Everything else. You didn't kill your uncle.
No, didn't kill my uncle. I didn't follow him into the confessional booth and.
No. So it happens fast. What else can we say about it? Because there's a lot to say about the idea of the midlife crisis. I mean, truly.
I would say this. What happened to me several years ago, where I literally did self-destruct, versus today, if I were to become single today, I would not react the same way I did then. I think you have to have that self-destruct moment where everything just kind of crashes in order to be able to understand the value of it, if that makes sense. I think you've already done that.
Me?
I think last year was your self-destruct.
I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't. I didn't mean to do it either. I didn't sit down and say, okay, that bitch left me for another country. I'll get her back.
Yeah, but I didn't even have any fun.
You
did.
You don't have to have fun during the self-destruct.
Well,
really, did I really have fun though? I came close to ending my career.
Okay, that part's true.
Okay.
Well, that part wasn't fun.
I lost a home. I lost a car.
But that summer.
That summer was fantastic. It was fun, okay? But look at the consequences of it.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I imploded.
So my midlife crisis is over, and instead of doing anything,
I don't think it's over.
For me.
I think now you're reckoning with what happened.
And now I'm moving into a second phase of spiderwebdom. You never should have given me that analogy. I'm gonna beat it like a dead horse. Because that's great.
All I said was, a fly never realizes he's in the web until it's too late. Meanwhile, the grasshopper who's sitting on the limb watching the fly is like, oh man.
And who's the grasshopper there, Brian?
Oh, I am.
Yeah. And I'm the fly. I always get the worst part. Never the grasshopper.
True. That's not true. Because if we're going to look at what I went through.
I was the grasshopper.
No, you weren't a grasshopper. You were the person in the stands watching the wreck happen.
And knowing it's going to happen.
And knowing it's going to happen.
What could possibly go wrong?
Radioing me. You're going to wreck. You're going to wreck really bad.
But if you slow down.
If you slow down, you might not wreck. Oh, you're wrecking.
So a different analogy is required here.
Yeah.
Instead of a spider web, it's a NASCAR race.
It's a racetrack, yeah.
And you hit the wall.
Oh, I didn't just hit the wall. I took the fence out. And like half the field.
So your self-destructive phase, mine was last year. Now I'm dealing with it. Plus I'm dealing with all the other crap that goes along with it.
Yeah, and I think what happened to you a month ago was the end.
I don't know. I think,
culmination.
Yeah, I think we're moving into an entirely different phase. Yeah.
Of the chaos. You self-destructed. Now you're dealing with the ramifications of that self-destruction.
Having a blast too. It's great. It's a real hoot.
I'm telling you, it happens differently for everybody. Not everybody goes out and buys a fucking Corvette.
No.
You know, everybody deals with it differently. Not everybody goes and tries to screw Greensboro. It happens differently. Or High Point.
Or wherever you happen to be living.
Wherever you happen to be. Not everybody does that. You know, there are different things for different people, different reactions. Some people actually revert. You know? Like maybe they're already living a chaotic life and then the crisis happens and they revert back to a calmer way of life. And that's how they deal with the crisis.
I may be there now.
Mm-hmm.
That part.
Yeah.
Things have calmed down. Things are still weird.
Yeah, that's why you got to be careful not to let things get ramped up.
I don't think they will.
You got to keep yourself on the outer rim of that web.
And stay as sober as possible.
Stay as sober as possible.
And no drunk texting.
No. That gets you in so much trouble.
I've only ever done that a few times, and it did get me in trouble because I didn't say anything I'd regret.
Good.
I think in this situation, I would say something I would deeply regret. Do you think our generation goes through it differently? It's funny, I know, but... Still thinking about that web?
No, I thought about a text, and it's hilarious. A theoretical text. But anyway.
Whoa. Tell me
Do
afterward.
I think our generation... Oh, yeah, it'll be in the post-show. Do I think our generation goes through it different? I think our generation is going to handle it at a different time.
But not a...
It's not going to be any different. We're human.
Well, the experience of your mortality is the same.
Yeah.
But are we doing it differently than the baby boomers are, or were?
I don't think so.
You think we're doing it the same?
Yeah, because the boomers did the same that the silent generation did. The silent generation are the ones that actually coined it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah. And then the boomers picked up on it. But it was the silent. They're the ones that, in the 60s and 70s got this ball rolling. You look at Mad Men, that whole series is built on identity crisis, right? Which is it's a midlife crisis, is what he's having. He created this identity, he's having to live through it, and he's starting to pay for it. And so he's having a midlife crisis. That entire series is built on that premise, and he's silent generation. He didn't go to war. He wasn't part of the greatest generation. He was right after it. He was in the baby bust, I guess you'd say. So when you look at it that way, they're the ones that got this thing going.
I've never watched it.
It's good. I need to finish it.
But it's a really good show.
Yeah. I have problems with it because it is non-stop drinking.
Which was accurate.
That was accurate back then, yeah. I talked to, our former boss's husband. He said that is the one thing that they got 100% accurate.
Was all the drinking.
Yeah. He said everybody would be sloshed by noon.
And it's hard for you to watch that for obvious reasons.
It's nonstop. That's all they do in that show.
At work.
Yeah. At work, at play, everywhere. They always have a drink in their hand.
How did they succeed at work doing that?
I don't know. Louis C.K. talks about that, right? He says, I watch these shows, and he's like, and he brings up Mad Men. He said, I watch these shows like Mad Men, and I'm watching it, and I'm thinking it's completely inaccurate because you have a bunch of guys drinking liquor at 9 o'clock in the morning. By 9:30, they're all on the floor asleep.
But it was true, according to our former boss's husband.
Yep.
I forgot he did
everybody,
that.
Yeah. He said everybody would be sloshed by noon, and then you go through the rest of your day. At the end of the day, happy hour, you went out, you got sloshed again. It was nonstop.
That can't be good for the body.
No.
Were they all alcoholics? I mean, how do you do that and work at the same time?
Well, Jason, actually, it's not that hard.
Well, For some of us.
Yeah.
For others of us, there's no way I could do that.
Okay, so I will use an example. Lauren and I were watching TV one day, and I think the news was on, and there was a report of a airline pilot who had gotten fired because he was drunk. And she was like, how could he fly a plane and be drunk? I said, more than likely, he was high functioning, like I was.
Yeah.
To where you become so adept to drinking, your body becomes so used to it. It understands how to function while inebriated. I mean, there were times, Jason, I swear to God, there were so many DUIs I did not get that I should have gotten. Because I was well over the limit.
And they let you pass.
They let me go because I was functioning normally. And I shouldn't have gotten through.
Would have certainly changed things.
Yeah. So I know it's hard to understand because when people think of alcoholics, they think of binge drinking.
Which is what I did.
That's not
It's not the same. No, you're right. It's not the same thing.
Alcoholism is you get up in the morning, you have a drink. You get your coffee, you have breakfast, whatever, you get a drink. You go to work, you get a drink. You get through a couple of hours of work, you get a drink. You do this all day.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to get sloshed to be an alcoholic.
You keep your body from shaking too much. And then at night, when you don't have any other obligations, that's when you cave. And you do this every day.
Yeah.
And by caving, you drink till you fall asleep. And then you get up next day, hoping that you got to bed. Because here's the thing, when you're an active alcoholic, like I was, you don't sleep. You basically go into a coma.
You pass out.
You're out. You black completely out. And then you wake up hoping you're in a bed.
Hoping you're in yours.
Yeah. Yeah, if you wake up somewhere where you don't recognize, you have to really keep yourself from freaking out.
Someone's head in your lap.
Yeah. Please have pants on. Please have pants on. But
it's funny because it's true.
Yeah, it's funny because it's true. It's sad, but it's true. Or having the Uber driver drive you from the back of your house to the front of your house.
Are you serious? Dragged you?
Oh, drove me.
Drove you? Oh.
Yeah, called an Uber to come and pick me up in the back of the townhouse to drive me around to the front of the townhouse. Because I thought I was on the other side of town.
You didn't know where you were? Oh my God.
It's like 2 a.m.
Okay, yeah, so you have officially, in fact, gone through your midlife crisis. If you can do something like that. Oh my God.
The next morning I opened my bank account, I was like, I gotta see how much damage. It's like $70. Well, yeah, okay, so here's the whole story.
This is an example of a midlife crisis, by the way.
I went downtown, met with Victor and his wife. We went to this new club that was opening up on Green Street. So before we went there, we met at McAllister's. Is it McAllister's? Yeah, McAllister's, right? The one downtown across from Natty's. Yeah. So we met there. We had a few drinks on the roof, so Victor and I could smoke. Then went to the club. Had quite a few drinks there. Now I had Ubered into town, so I was like, well, I'll Uber home. So I did my thing on Uber and stood there and waited. The Uber driver comes up. I said, are you from Barber? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. So I get in the car. He's supposed to take me to Autumn Crest. He's taking me to like Cedar Crest or something. Opposite end of town, right? I'm starting to realize he's going the wrong way. We're not going. And so I asked him, I was like, you're supposed to be going to this road. no, I'm going to this one. I'm like, no, that's wrong. And I was like, I need to get there. Can you change? He's like, I can't change. I was like, son of a bitch. I said, let me out. So he lets me out at this gas station in the middle of downtown, or in middle Greensboro. I can get another Uber. He comes and picks me up. I'm telling the dude the whole story, right? This is back when I was in that townhouse in Adams Farm. He lets me out because whatever map system he was using took him to the backside. So he lets me out back there. And I'm telling him, I'm like, this is not the right place, man. And he gives me the address. I was like, yeah, that's the address. This is not right. This is not it.
You didn't know where you were.
I didn't realize I was looking at the back of the townhouse. So I was like, you know what, forget it. And so he leaves, and I wait a few minutes, and I ordered a third Uber. So they come and they pick me up. I said, please take me home. So he literally went around the townhouse and dropped me off at the front.
Did you laugh?
I did. He was laughing. It's like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. So I was like, when we get there, I just kind of sat there for a second. I said, I feel so stupid. He was like, it's all right, man. It's between us. I was like, okay. So got out of the car, went on in.
That bastard probably told everyone he knew.
Probably.
You won't believe what happened to me last night.
This drunk.
And you were obviously gone.
Oh, I was so blitzed.
Okay, boys and girls, this is how some people respond to a midlife crisis.
That's one of many stories.
Well, you had a particular event that led to that.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, yours was just an unholy confluence of nasty events. And your response was, drink more. I can't say I did that.
Yeah, and that's why I keep telling you, be careful.
I had a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I have to be very careful because I haven't yet responded to it.
I know. And you need not to.
No. Well, I won't dare.
Well, you can respond. You just have to be careful with how you respond.
Well, I won't do anything.
I know.
Or say anything. I mean,
I'm not just talking about the spider web. I'm talking about life.
Oh. Well, we'll see now that I'm on my own what that looks like.
Routines, man. That's what I learned when I got out of rehab. Routine, routine, routine.
Yeah, marriages are some of the first casualties of a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, but you and I have talked about your situation.
Yeah.
And
You gotta be very careful here.
Yeah.
Don't say too much.
But yeah, we've talked about your situation. My situation was much different.
Yes. I feel calm now.
That's good.
Like I've reconciled because I did not take my life into my own hands and end it all. I feel better because I didn't opt out. I decided
Stick through it.
Yeah, Camus in Myth of Sisyphus talks about this. It's an entire book about why you should not commit suicide. And one of the things he ultimately says is life has no meaning, but you still shouldn't commit suicide.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. As terrible as it can be, you have to keep going.
Well, and somebody of faith.
Yes.
I've told a couple of people this who have mentioned suicide and confessed that they had thoughts. And my response is always, why do you think you know better than God?
Exactly.
Because you don't.
No.
You wait for Him.
Can't choose your own death.
No.
I don't blame anyone for doing that, but
yeah,
because when you're in that spot, you can't help it.
Yeah.
But if you can remember that,
yeah,
then I think you stand a chance of making it.
Yeah, it keeps you on solid ground at that point.
Yeah, this is not my time.
Yeah.
My time will come, but this ain't it. No.
Yeah. Well, on that happy note,
Did we talk an hour?
we're at 45 minutes.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
It's a wrap.
It's a-
And we almost ended on a funny story, and then we brought it back to just pain and despair.
I think the story is pain and despair.
So the moral of the story, kids, is don't get drunk and don't take an Uber from the back of your house to the front of it. I can't believe you did that.
I did.
I did not know that. You have never told that story to me. The part about the deck you've told me a couple times. I've heard that story from a few other people. It's like the synoptic gospels, right? I'm piecing all this stuff together to get a complete story.
Well, there's the deck.
And then there's his waking up in his bed with McDonald's.
Or what was it, Easter weekend with the yeah.
Yeah. You've lived. I mean, no one's going to accuse you of not living. You lived hard. I feel like an amateur. You know?
Oh. Yeah.
On that note, unless you've got more to say,
Nah.
nothing that you can say on camera,
Well, we'll wrap it up there and
and talk afterward.
yeah. So I'm the barber. That's Dr. J. Happy birthday to the Optic Poet.
Thank you.
Now it's time for Dr. J.